everybody, Max here. Today I'll be taking out the Ki-43-III otsu into air simulator battles, showcase how to effectively use its high turn rate and high caliber cannons to win dogfights. Before we begin, a tip: always look for a BR bracket where your plane is rated higher than most. For example, I'm using the Ki-43 in the 3.7 to 4.7 BR bracket, so I'm expecting an advantage over most opponents. In this game I'll be playing on the Afghanistan map, and right away after spawning you'll see me checking the map. That is me looking for targets and or objectives. In this case I see that the capture point is under attack from enemy aircraft, so I'll be diverting my course towards there. Once I get into the capture point, I notice some tracer fire behind and below me, and I move to engage. Since the Ki-43 is a turn fighter, not an energy fighter, I am not too worried about losing my height so aggressively, as my priority is getting to the enemy first, rather than staying with an energy advantage. Now, I see that an aircraft got shot down, so I look at the kill feed to get the information about what's going on. I see that it is a friendly bomber that got shot down by an F-6F, so I know that the aircraft at my 12 o'clock is that F-6F. Furthermore, I know that the F-6F has an inferior turn fight performance than my Ki-43, so my objective is to get into a two-circle fight with him. He notices me, tries to pull in onto me, but it's already too late. All I need to do is ensure that my pilot does not black out, and I'll be able to sit on his tail and finish him off. However, here I will notice a second aircraft that is coming to join the fight. Right here, as I'm trying to stay on the tail of the F-6F, I notice the other American fighter. So currently my priority is getting rid of the F-6F as soon as I can, which I do now. I put him into a flat spin, I know he's not recovering. So I switch targets to the other American fighter. And I know that at this battle rating, every single American fighter has inferior turn performance to the Ki-43. So once again the objective is the same. Get into a turn fight, get behind him and shoot him down. What I do need to keep in mind is that I need to be conservative with my ammunitions. I only get 300 rounds in these guns, and they're really not enough if you spray and pray. So as you can see, both of us are in a very low energy situation. It's very difficult to fly this plane at such low speeds. So it's good for me when he dives down, so we can both get some speed. And as you can see, the 20 millimeters have incredible firepower. I had absolutely no problem dealing with both of those planes. Next, I see an aircraft approaching from the side of the map of the enemies towards us, so I immediately suspect he's a hostile. I get on his tail without him noticing me. This is a prime example of why you should always keep your head on a swivel in Air Simulator. All it takes is a couple of seconds for someone to get on your tail. Now here I see 3 aircraft in front of me in total, but I suspect that 2 of them are having a dogfight, so I focus on my own target. The Spitfire in front of me tries to pull him to the vertical, but I have way more than enough speed to go into the vertical with him. And the Ki-43 has okay energy retention, so I have no problem staying on his tail. Here's where the low velocity guns fall short though. As you can see, all my shots fell behind the Spitfire. I couldn't find my mark. And unluckily for me, the Spitfire is very good in a turn fight, but the pilot of it seems inexperienced and does not use that turn rate to his advantage, instead just getting me free shots by moving in a straight line. It's an example of how you need to know the strengths of your aircraft to effectively fight. Now here I've been hit by someone, so I quickly dispatch of the Spitfire and immediately try looking for whoever shot me. I notice a friendly moving behind me. Keep my head on a swivel, as always, and I see tracer fire being fired upon my friendly. So I know that that is the hostile I will be taking out next. I see the very distinct shape of the Swedish J-21, and I know that that is an extremely poor turn fighting aircraft. It has powerful nose-mounted cannons, so I need to not head on it. But as you can see, I'm in a very advantageous position. Behind him, faster than him. So I know for sure I'm winning this fight. Here I actually did not notice the fact that he went into the ground and just went for the kill. Now, one thing that is not obvious from this video is just how long air simulator games usually take. You might have noticed I have a clock in the top left corner. That is for you to be able to understand just how much time is being spent between engagements. Most of your time in an air sim game will be flying from point A to point B, trying to identify targets. Sometimes the target you'll be chasing will turn out to be a friendly. Sometimes there will just be no aircraft for you to shoot. That is just how air simulator games play out sometimes. They require a lot of patience and a lot of time. Now that the aircraft is repaired, my task is to get back into the air and look for objectives as soon as I can. As I'm taking off, I use right rudder and right brake to keep the plane on the runway during slow speed, as War Thunder has an over-exaggerated P-factor simulation, which forces your plane to veer to the side as you're accelerating off the runway. Once you start picking up speed, those inputs do not have to be as aggressive, since the aircraft becomes more aerodynamically stable. Here I'm in a similar situation to the start of the round, approaching a capture point with enemy aircraft in it. Now here I spot one contrail, and I suspect that to be the hostile I'm going to engage. I've kept the footage of me flying towards the point in, sped up obviously, to show the importance of keeping your eyes on the target while also avoiding target fixation by looking around you and ensuring you have good situational awareness. Because with the way War Thunder renders aircraft, if you're far away, sometimes they'll just not render for you. So you do have to keep an eye on them. Now here I see two planes, both of whom are hostile. I choose to go for the one on the bottom. As I get closer, I can see that it's a P-47 Thunderbolt with rockets attached, and I know that I'll have absolutely no problem winning in a raid fight. I get on his tail, fire off some rounds which scares him, and we get into a turn fight. Now what I'm doing here is not being conservative enough with my ammunition. This is a mistake. On planes like the Ki-43, you really have to respect the fact that it has a low ammo capacity, because I have wasted a third of my ammunition and dealt no damage to anything. But as you can see, the Ki-43 remains undefeated in a two-circle dogfight, and the 20mm cannons do their job. Now here I spot another aircraft on my tail. This is why you should always check your six. Never look forward. Always keep your head on a swivel. If I didn't notice him, I would have been dead by now. Thankfully, I have the superior turn rate to get on the tail of this F6F, and at this point it's over. Similar to every single other American fighter I faced, he stands no chance. And here, the game won't count it, but this is a maneuver kill for me. At this point, I've already decided that I have sufficient footage to showcase the strengths of the Ki-43, but I notice another enemy aircraft, and I decided to showcase why you should always be vigilant of your surroundings. This is an enemy plane flying from the enemy side to our one, presumably to bomb something. And you can just see how effortlessly I got on his tail without him noticing. And at this point, I know I'm behind an F6F with bombs. He is not winning. Even though I admittedly had horrible aim here, it's not gonna matter since that aircraft cannot do anything. Perhaps he would have stood a chance if he reacted to me earlier, but it was just too late, and the 20mm cannons remain unmatched. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Ki-43-III otsu. Overall, a very good turn fighter, especially if you down-tier it like I did. The only downsides are the low amount of cannon ammo and lack of machine guns, which calls for strict trigger discipline. However, when you do hit your shots, expect the enemy to go down, and with its turn rate, you should have no problem getting on the tail. Of course, thank you to everyone for watching. I'll be continuing this series, reviewing more Japanese aircraft, but I'm also open to requests or suggestions of aircraft to review. Thank you, and take care.